If you've been around the community long enough to remember that the Platinum card in 2020 was literally easily the best credit card in Canada for absolutely everything, well, it seems like history had repeated itself. Well, except this time, instead of the Platinum card, it's the Cobalt card, and so in this video, we're gonna go over why the Cobalt card is easily the best credit card in Canada right now, why this is such an important video that you do not want to miss, how Amex will revamp their entire lineup potentially, and how this might be a limited time offer. So let's have a little flashback there in 2020 and what exactly happened. Well, if you remember in 2020, the American Express Platinum card went through a major change temporarily. Basically, they went fully nuts, giving it 12% back on dining, 8% back on travel, and 4% on everything else. So thus it became literally the best credit card period. Well, think of this as a round 2 of the madness, except it's for the Cobalt card. So when the Cobalt card was first released, I wasn't personally too big of a fan, although it is pretty good in terms of the earning ratios, in terms of the everyday spending. However, it earns something called the MR Select points. Now, the difference between MR and MR Select points is MR, the biggest selling point, although you can transfer to hotel partners, although you can redeem it towards, say, travel expenses, the biggest selling point is you can transfer it into airline partners like Aeroplan at a 1-to-1 ratio. However, MR Select points do not have that capability. And of course, without the ability to transfer the MR points to Aeroplan at a 1-to-1 ratio, it significantly devalues these MR points, thus MR Select points. And then later on, they gone through a name change with Amex calling them, instead of MR Select, MR points. But then this is even more confusing because now these are called MR points, but they still cannot be transferred to, say, Aeroplan. And then the third, perhaps the final change of the transformation, now these MR points are truly MR points, can be transferred into Aeroplan at a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, if you're new to the credit card community, you're probably like, what did this guy just say? Like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What is Aeroplan and why is this important? Now, with the ability to transfer MR points into Aeroplan at a 1-to-1 ratio, means it pretty much just doubled the value of these Cobalt MR points, because Aeroplan points are valued at an average of 2 cents per point. So basically, in the past, these MR points were worth about 1 cent per point, but then when you can transfer these point currency into another point currency at a ratio of 1-to-1, it pretty much makes it 2 cents per point, effectively doubling the point evaluation. Now, with that in mind, let's take a closer look at the Cobalt card's earning ratios with a fresh pair of eyes to determine what exactly this means. 5x on eats, drinks, and grocery stores, 3x on streaming, 3x on travel and transit, and 1x on everything else. Now, this ratio is pretty good, however, it isn't anything out of the ordinary. For example, sure, you get 5x on, say, dining and grocery stores. However, with the 1 point equal 1 cent evaluation, you also get the exact same thing with the Scotia Gold Amex reward card, which I reviewed in the past and actually compared the two. Now, with what we talked about earlier, these Amex points pretty much doubled in value overnight, which means these points that was sitting in your account doubled, and also the point that you will earn in the future. This means it turns the 5x into basically x2, which is 10x, you guys, on food, on dining, and on grocery stores. Now, this still might not please some people because they're like, okay, sure, you get 10x on, say, food, dining, and grocery stores, but then the ones I go to, they don't take Amex. What do I do? Now, there are known ways around that as well. For example, sure, you get 10x on grocery and food. However, what you buy at the grocery store, as long as it's at that store, is coded as a grocery purchase. For example, if I were to buy a gift card for, say, Starbucks or a home improvement store or a vanilla Visa or MasterCard gift card, as long as I purchased it in a grocery store that took Amex that codes it as a grocery purchase, I'm good to go. However, it is important to note that the credit card issuers, they do frown upon this kind of behavior. You're not technically supposed to, it's kind of like a gray area. You're not supposed to buy gift cards with these credit cards. So my best advice there, in order not to get flagged, is when you're just going through your everyday purchase, $50 here, $100 here, as long as you're not filling up your tab with, say, $2,000 worth of grocery purchase all at once, they won't raise any red flags. As long as you use your common sense about it, because let's say somebody went to a grocery store and bought $2,000 of Visa gift cards. That just doesn't make any sense. Nobody spends that kind of money on one grocery trip, right? So if you're gonna do that, obviously you're gonna get flagged. But if you take it easy, $50 here, $100 there, you should be okay. Now let's talk about the elevated sign-up bonus on this card. You now get a total of 50,000 MR points in total, 20,000 in which comes with spending $3,000 in the first 3 months. You get 2,500 MR points for each month you spend more than $500 for a total of 30,000 MR points in a 12-month period. That's a sign-up value of $1,000, which is very generous considering the earning ratios we just talked about. That's on top of other perks associated with the Amex card, for example, access to Amex offers, which will save you a lot of money for average everyday spending. And now all of that for a total of $13 for a monthly fee. That is pretty good, and which makes this card the only credit card in Canada that does a monthly fee structure instead of an annual fee. And again, with all of these perks, all of this package combined together, it's really easy to justify that $13 per month. I mean, Amex offer will make that money back for you. Now that brings me to the next point. For the longest time, the Platinum and the Gold card has been Amex's flagship credit cards. Now this card, with it emerging from, say, MR Select points to MR points, it literally overtook the Platinum, the Gold, it made them almost obsolete, minus the travel perks, of course. So what are they gonna do? Is this a temporary change, or are they revamping their whole lineup like we're seeing with the Gold card? So much is in the air right now, so if this all sounds good to you, I would hop on it as soon as possible and consider this as a limited time offer. Because to me, this is kind of like a too good to be true category, so I don't know when this will get nerfed in some way, shape, or form. So with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe to see more videos. And we're so close, you guys, to 1,000 subscribers. So if you've been enjoying these videos and you are not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe to help the channel reach that milestone. I'd be really appreciated. And lastly, comment down below and let me know what you think about this change. Let me know what you think about the whole Amex revamping their whole lineup thing. Is it gonna happen, or is this offer too good to be true and will be nerfed in the very near future? Now let me know your thoughts. As always, have an amazing day. Peace.